Excuse me, sir. Is the Earth round or flat?
Flat.
Why do you say that?
Because of the firmament.
What's the firmament?
Do you even read the Bible, bro?
What up, what up? You are now listening to Once Upon 785, the dopest podcast in the Midwest. I'm your host, Georgie350. Let's get into it, bitch. What up, and welcome to another episode of Once Upon 785. Today's date is March 2nd, 2025. This is episode 31. As always, I'm your host, Georgie350, and I got a guest, Tiff, on the show. And we talk about relationships and all the crazy shit that comes along with those. But, as always, before we start, let's do some quick plugs. I'm going to start first by plugging my TikTok at Georgie350. Come hang out with me when I go live, check out all my videos, and make sure you check out my showcase so you can buy some dope-ass products from the TikTok shop. Today's product from TikTok shop is the coldest water. Check it out on my profile page, bitch. Literally the dopest tumbler I've ever got. All right. And also, I'm on Cameo now at Georgie350. So go check me out for any personalized videos you want. And you already know, I have 3 places you can go and get some dope clothing. First is habits365.com and use promo code Georgie350 to get 15% off your order. Next, you can go to reaperapparelco.com and use promo code Georgie350 and get 10% off your order. And last but not least, you can go to cocobury.com for your premium sweatsuits. They got all different colors, and use promo code Georgie350 to get 30% off your order. Also, check out the Flat Earth Sun and Moon Clock app in the App Store, but make sure you use my referral link, or you can use code Georgie so they know who sent you. If you would like to watch the video version of most of the podcast episodes instead of just hearing it, I do have 2 options. Excuse me. First, for $5 a month, you can go to patreon.com/onceupon785. You'll get the episodes before everyone else, or you can use Spotify and sign up for my premium subscription plan straight through the app for just $2.99. But this video is also going out for free on Spotify and Patreon. I don't know how long I'm going to do this, but enjoy it while you can. Also, questions, comments, or if you want to come on the show, you can email me at onceupon785@proton.me. That's M as in Mary, E as in everybody. Lastly, if you want to support me and you enjoy the show, do me a favor and leave a rating or a review, or just share the show with someone who you think might find it interesting. I appreciate it greatly, because any way you can support helps me get closer to being able to hopefully do this full time someday. And now, let's get into today's episode. What up, and welcome. And today, I am joined by Tiffany, and I have known her, we just figured out, for like 13 years. So, it's cool. We reconnected today just randomly, and we're going to have a little conversation. So, if you would, tell a little bit about yourself and your background.
All right. My name is Tiff, short for Tiffany. I'm a Kansas girl. I've been other places, but I always come back here. I love it. Love the sunsets. My mom, and I love art and music, and yeah, I'm just kind of a free spirit. I love it all.
Hell yeah. So were you born in Kansas?
Hayes. Yep.
No shit. I had no idea. Okay.
Yep. Hadley Medical
Hell
Center.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's crazy. That's where I've had one
It
of my
is.
kids.
Really? Me too.
So I'm pretty sure that I hit you up because I seen a post that you made, and I felt like the post you had, I kind of felt like I knew the feeling. And so, except uh slight changes, but yeah, mostly if how am I trying to say this? We've both been in fucked up relationships.
That's a good way to put it.
And so I don't know how you want to start that or if you want to just dive right in it.
Well, I've been doing a lot of like research on different kinds of relationships. Mainly lately, it's been narcissistic relationships, but toxicity in general. So if you're an empath and you have a really big heart and you're somebody that like would do anything for anybody else or, a big lover, it's very typical to attract the opposite kind, somebody with low self-esteem, somebody that sees your light and they've got to have it just so that they can be the one to put it out. So I don't know. It's something that I've been learning about because I don't want to make that mistake ever again. So yeah, if you're an empath, you've got to be really, really cautious to look at red flags and just know that that's a sign and don't overlook it because empaths do that. They'll overlook the red flags and be like, I love that person. It's going to be okay. And then they turn out to be a million Z's like bad.
So when you say empath, is that like, I'm pretty sure like the only way I can explain it is like, I know when you're on Tinder, it asks you like what your personality is. Is that where you're like empath, introvert? Is it that kind of thing?
Okay,
Or is
so
it like
basically
empathy?
yes, like empathy, like you wear your heart on your sleeve, you're loyal, faithful. Usually you're very intelligent, can be an entrepreneur or whatever, but you've basically got something going on in your life and you're doing well, or I mean, you don't have to have a lot of money or anything. It's just basically like you just have this light that everybody wants to be around. And um, and it's a good light, it's a good personality. So yeah, it draws in people that aren't so good because they just, I don't know, they're drawn to it and they want to, they like it at first, but then their real purpose in the end is to just like, they end up hating it, I guess.
Yeah, I totally get that because I don't know. I feel like no matter what, I don't know. I feel like I'm the type of person that I would spend my last dollar on the person I was with before I would use it on myself. But I feel like, I don't know, there's probably some women that would say I was something, but I would say that, nah. I feel like usually the people that are the most narcissistic are the ones that try to blame you for shit that they do.
Exactly. They'll blame you. They'll belittle you. They'll take your money. They'll take your friends away. They'll try to keep you away from anybody and everybody you care about, but they'll make sure that you're around the people they want to be around, like their family or whatever, or they'll completely keep you away from their family and friends too. And, yeah, they want to basically take your light, just put like a lid over it so nobody can see it. They just want to make you miserable because it makes them feel better. And actually, if you look at two different brains, you have like an empathetic brain versus a narcissistic brain. If those brains are both watching a person in pain or crying or something, they're upset, the empathetic brain will light up. But the narcissistic brain hardly lights up. It stays gray for the most part. So this is why they say like narcissists can't change, because whatever they had go on when they were younger that like stopped the formation of their brain to be like proper, there's nothing there. Like even if they go get help, there's nothing there that has any empathy for anybody. I mean,
Yeah,
that
I
sounds
feel like
harsh, but
I know, I feel like that's totally true though, because yeah, I feel like I've totally seen that multiple times. And it's just wild to me. And it can happen
Totally.
on both sides. It's not just women and it's not just men.
Exactly. Exactly. But you'll normally see a narcissist with an empath or whatever. Like if you see a narcissist, and a lot of people don't know that it's a narcissist because they're going to be the nicest people out in public. They're going to be the one that you're like, he's so awesome. He's the one that's, leading the town, or man, she never does anything wrong. She's so great, or whatever. They're the ones that need to make face so that everybody sees them and praises them because they want the praise. They have to have the praise. But then they get home and the one person that loves them the most is the one that gets, the worst, or, maybe even the kids. So it's just a bad deal, like all around with that kind of a situation for sure.
And something that I feel like I've noticed a lot more in relationships is that just from my side with women, I feel like they crave more of that reassurance from social media than they do their partner. Like they would rather get a bunch of likes on a provocative photo on the internet than they would from the person that they're with. And if they don't get those likes, then it's like they're having a bad day and now it's your fault. And it's like, what the fuck did I do? That makes no sense.
Well, first of all, if you're in a relationship, you probably shouldn't be posting provocative pictures of yourself to social media. That's just my opinion. And yeah, for them to do that and then have to crave the attention of the likes afterwards is like, it's degrading to themselves, but it's also degrading to their spouse and the person that they're with. If you want to take pictures like that, fine, send them to your spouse, but they don't belong on the internet. I don't know. I don't agree with that whatsoever, but that's dangerous in a relationship too, to try to get a lot of people to feed off of like sexiness and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, why do you need it from everybody else? Like, why are you trying to get it from everybody else when you've got somebody?
I've had this conversation many a times, and you get made to feel guilty for even asking them to stop doing it or whatnot, because I feel like that's just how manipulative they are. But then if I were to do it, that'd be a whole nother story. And I've did a couple episodes on how social media literally ruins the modern day relationship, because if it's a girl or a guy and they're chasing those likes for the attention from other people, then all those people could be looked at as potential backburners, like someone who, if they get in a fight, she can or he can talk to that person because they already know that they're interested because they've went and liked all their photos.
Exactly.
And they're probably already in their
a
DMs.
threat. Yep. Yep. That's another thing too. Speaking of that, okay, so with a narcissist, I'm using narcissist because that's kind of the situation I'm in right now, but they will lock themselves in the bathroom for hours at a time, talking 1, 2, 3 hours, whatever. And I guess that is a typical thing that they do. That's their dirty time. So they'll be in there messaging other men or other women, or they'll be in there watching stuff when their spouse is out here, and they'll go to bed later and not even pay attention to their spouse. Or they could be playing a game or whatever, but it's usually like, it's called the supply. So like the person that they're with is their supply. But if they're bored of that person, they want to keep them around, but they go to the bathroom and they get a new supply by being on the phone. So they're doing a lot of stuff in there. So if you ever see a spouse like in the bathroom quite often with the door locked for a very long time, that's a red flag.
That's wild. And I feel like, let me ask you this. If you're in a relationship, do you think it is out of the question for you to know each other's password and it not be a big deal?
Why should you have anything to hide? If you're in a relationship, why should you hide anything? Yeah.
I believe with that 100%.
There's actually something weird though with my ex. So in the beginning 2 years, I just felt something in the pit of my stomach that was off. And so he did not lock his phone. And I don't think he ever did. I don't know. I just didn't care as much in the end. But there was a few times I opened it up and I'm like, this is not cool. And it never stopped. But Yeah, I don't think you should have anything to hide. But yeah, that was a unique situation, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if he wanted me to find it. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, who knows?
Yeah, because I feel like in one of my relationships at the beginning, I didn't lock my phone and I did it just because, whatever. And it's not like I was trying to hide stuff, but there may had been things that I hadn't told them yet when, like, throughout a period of time, we would be on and off. And I know I don't know everything that they did when we were on a break. So, and mine wasn't even with other people. It was just other things that still probably shouldn't have did, but regardless. And I just hadn't mentioned it. So they might say I was trying to keep it a secret. I might say I just didn't find the right time or think that it was really, I don't know, that big of a deal.
Well, I think when
And when
it's
they
done to
start
you,
locking
though,
their
like,
phone,
yeah,
it's just wild to me.
it is. I was actually watching a video tonight. You know how like they have those little videos that come out on Facebook, like those inspirational ones or whatever. But the guy's like, if you're my girl, he's like, you could look in my phone. He goes, I don't have anything to hide. You can message some of my friends too. And I thought that was kind of cool. And like for you just to bring that up, it's really cool. But yeah, it should never, there should always be trust. If there's ever a question for trust, it's a red flag. And, if you're going to be with somebody and you're planning to be with them for the rest of your life, like, why would you hide anything to begin with? Why would you treat that person as if they weren't like that person that you're supposed to spend your life with? Like, if you're planning to be with this person, I don't know. I don't know where the respect has gone. I don't know where like the authenticity of like two people together and just how special that is. Like, I don't know. It's not a thing anymore, I guess, like it used to be.
It's not. And I feel like back when we were kids, it was almost, pretty rare to see kids in your class that didn't have, at least for me in a small town, kids in your class that didn't have both their parents that were still together. Nowadays, it's like the exact opposite. It's really rare to see a couple that have all their kids with the same person. And I mean, I'm like a spitting image of that. Like, never been married. All my kids have different moms. And it's like, I don't know. It's just the times that we're in. And I feel like a lot of it has to do with the advance of social media and shit like that. Because before cell phones, you know how hard it would have been to try to cheat and get away with it on a landline phone when someone could pick up the other side of the phone and just listen to what they're saying. There was no sneaky text, none of that.
Exactly. Yeah, there's definitely positives and negatives to technology, but as far as like human advancement, like with the emotions and just the respect factor, it just seems like it's changed everything. And then you even see like kids at the stores, their respect is gone, like riding these little scooters at Walmart and all that stuff. That drives me crazy because it's like the integrity, like you're going to be an adult in just a couple years and you're riding a scooter around looking like a fool, and they see him on these like TikTok videos or whatever. And there's good stuff on the internet too. Like I said, I've been doing a lot of studying about things from the internet, but you got to be careful. You got to be careful not to become one of those kind of people that, becomes a fool. I don't want to be a fool. I want to be intelligent. I want to have integrity. I want to be respectful. I don't want to be a fool. So the way I look at life, I don't understand how that's not a thing.
Yeah, because you can totally use the internet and learn massive amounts of information about literally anything you want to know about, or you can just become another brain dead person who just mindlessly scrolls all day long. And I've been in a relationship where that's like literally all they did was just mindlessly scroll. They would let some other person, like on Facebook, would post how they're like husband or their boyfriend bought them a new vehicle, and then it would ruin their day because they weren't getting a new vehicle from me. And it's like, okay, well, that girl who has a husband, she's got a job. You don't got a job. I'm the only one with a job. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's the whole, I don't know, the whole system's changed. Like back in the day, not that it was the right way, but, you know, the men went to work, the women did the kids, and they cleaned and stuff. And times are different now because you can't really afford to live life as comfortable as you want on a single person income. And when it's a single person income and only one person's working, and then the other person, all they do is just mindlessly scroll all day. They don't cook, they don't clean, they don't do nothing but watch TV all day. It's just like, how can you put up with that over and over?
Right. Laziness. Have some grit. Grow up, you know? Like, I mean, if you are a stay-at-home mom, that's awesome. If you are blessed enough to do that, you know, that's cool. But there's something to having that job and like taking care of things and doing a good job, you know, and like being something to your family. But when you are choosing to be on your phone the whole time, I mean, you're taking from everybody. And you're taking from yourself basically too, but it doesn't matter. You're taking from everybody that you're supposed to be giving to. Like, I don't know. It's just a lot of people that I know are on social media so often, and the most depressed people are the ones that are on it. And
Absolutely.
I don't know. I was off of it for the longest time. I just started looking at it like within the last couple of weeks, but I don't know. I have phases. I'll probably be off of it soon too, but I just, I get tired of it after a while. I really get tired of it. I couldn't do it for like forever. Like, yeah, I know friends that'll just be on it for endless amounts of time.
Yeah, see, I was avidly against TikTok for the longest time, and now I am like, I hate all social media except for TikTok. That's the only one that I will mindlessly scroll, but I feel like my algorithm is so on point. It's literally all the videos that I would be looking up on the internet anyway. And I was going to delete Facebook and Instagram and all that other stuff, but then I started posting my podcast on there, and that's literally the only reason I keep it, is just so I can upload on it. I think just the other day I started randomly liking people's posts on Facebook again, just because not only do I not like Facebook, I don't like Mark Zuckerberg. I think he's a douche.
Yeah. Yeah.
TikTok's totally got me hooked. I love it. If they ban it, I'm going to be pretty sad.
It seems like it's going to stay. I don't know.
I'm hoping so.
That'd be good.
So, let me ask you this. Are you iPhone or Android?
Android. I'm Samsung Galaxy.
That's good to know, because I have a serious problem with women with iPhones. I'm pretty sure I did a whole episode on how sketchy iPhone is and why a lot of women
Really?
use it, and how they can use, like, you might be able to do it on Android now, but like if you want to send sneaky link messages to people with iPhones, you don't even have to message them. You can just type a note and then share that note with the person, and then you can type back and forth to each other on the note. Like with iPhones, you can share like notes, like, you know how you'll type a note on your phone? You can share that note with another person, and then you and that person can now message each other back and forth on that note, and there's no cell phone data being transferred, no send or receive. It's just they share the note and they can update it.
What is up with all the sneaky crap? Where? I didn't know about that.
I was literally with a girl, and she went through all the trouble of downloading an app to where you had to dial a certain number and then hit send, and the app would like appear, and then it was like a secret messaging app. And then when you wanted it to disappear, you would have to type another number and hit send, and it would disappear. But I still found out because I went through all the apps in their app store because I'm not stupid. It's just the extent people go to hide something from someone when they're already in a relationship is mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, okay, so I'm coming out of this marriage, and I mean, there were some good times, but it got really bad this last year. And I had to ultimately make like the hardest decision of my life because we have everything. I mean, I have a nice house, I have a nice car. I probably gonna lose it all, but I've got it. I've got this whole dream and this whole plan, and I've already started going after it. But anyways, the red flags and all the things that he did to break me here, and then added to like things from my past from other relationships. I've started a list like, what are the red flags? I don't want to be with a guy that has to get drunk every single night of his life. That's gross. Because every single guy that I've ever been with has gotten drunk all the time. For me, I want a guy that, can go to church with me, because that's, somebody that doesn't try to provide all of the finances. I want to be able to take part in paying for some stuff, and because my ex-husband here, he's in charge of all the bills. My vehicle drives, he stopped paying for it. I had to find $1,000 to pay it off, only because a piece of mail that said something about it. I know what company, and it's in his name. The title is in, yeah, just the red flags from before. I've made my own list of what's acceptable and what's not, because I will never go down that path again where like my immaturity in the past was one thing, and um, but this has definitely it taught me that, somebody that's abusive, whether physical or financial, well, he did take $16,000 of our, it's dwindling throughout the month, but, yeah, if they're physically abusive, financially abusive, emotionally abusive, yeah, they're not ever going to love you no matter how much you love them. So you can try and try and try and try and all and beg on your knees and everything, and they're just going to tell you, shut up, it's your fault. And basically what happened here. And so, yeah, I had to make a tough decision, but I would rather start my life over than be with a man that makes me feel like I'm nothing. And my brain has a ways to go with like believing in myself and that self-confidence here and there. But man, if I have a spurt of self-confidence, you better watch it, because I'm going to use it. And then, a few moments later, if I need to break down, I do. But I try to utilize the good things that come when they come, because getting out of something like this is very hard, like mentally, financially, all of it. And it is very lonely, but that's something that I've also decided, because I want to take a year to, just from him and, pain of the loneliness. I want to feel it. I want to feel all of that, because I'm going to feel it come out one of these days. And one of these days, I'm going to sit there and realize how bad that pain was and how good I feel now. And I'm going to be sitting there with a nice paycheck and a nice job. And
Hell yeah. And see, that's something that I realized because I was pretty, you could say, atheist until, and I just had like a full on revelation, and it just hit me, and I was like, oh my God, God is real. But funny story, it was because I was listening to this podcast that randomly came on, and it was about the flat earth, and the guy was quoting the Bible, and I was forced to go to church my whole life, and I heard him start saying this word firmament and talking about how that's the dome that's underneath the flat earth. And I was like, I've never heard that word before in my life. And I came straight home, found my grandpa's old big Bible, and I was like, holy shit, there it is, firmament. I was like, man, God is real. And it's hard to have that belief, even religion, or even, being a flat earther and being with someone who's like avidly against both of those things. That kind of sucks because there's nothing you can share about when it comes to that.
Right. Right. Well, like, you know how I said, like, going to church is important to me. Like, we started on Father's Day one year, I think it was 2018, and then Father's Day 2019, we're driving, and he starts this whole temper tantrum, like, I don't want to go, I don't want to go, and like, why are you making me do this crap? And I'm like, just like, all right, just go and just go. It's fine, but it's the promises to go with me that's what hurts, because I do lean on my faith whenever just, I don't know, it's a big deal to me. It always has been since I was little. And I mean, yeah, there's a big chunk of my life that I was a party girl and all that stuff and like to have fun, but it was there, still there. It was just, I just wanted to have fun, I guess, and live my life. And I guess I did live my life, and I don't know. I did choose the relationships that I got into. I did choose everything that happened. I chose every situation that I got into that ended up happening how it happened. And so, I don't know, the pain and stuff that I've been through, maybe I could have avoided to some extent, but regardless, I'm here now and I've learned. And sometimes it takes the toughest stuff to make us wake up and be like, okay, don't be around people like that. Like, do not be around people that are going to bring you down. Only be around people that'll bring you up, because as many people as there are that are selfish and cheaters and lousy and, you know, all of that stuff, there are also decent people in the world too. And you'll know if you're around somebody that wants you to succeed versus somebody that is trying to keep you from succeeding or makes you feel bad about yourself. That should never be somebody that's.
I've made the decision that I don't think I want to find someone to be with for the rest of my life. I think that is ultimately the main goal. But I have came to the realization that I never want to get legit married through a court. I would rather just, we can do everything, buy rings, do all that, but I don't want to get a piece of paper from the government that says we now, the government married you. I would rather just part of the common law marriage, just because nowhere in the Bible does it say you have to have a piece of paper from the government to be married. You just have to commit to to each other, and
It's true. Or you can do it the Jewish way and step on a. It's kind of fun.
So would you ever get married again? Would you ever get married again? Or has this changed your opinion on marriage?
Here's the deal. So ever since I was little, I just wanted to be a wife and mom. I would pray about it. That's all I ever wanted. And married once, that's it. And I knew in my heart I was going to get married once. And the first time was 3 months, and he ended up being gay and transgender, and we're very good friends now, whatever. I don't really count our and then I married a man that physically abused me and almost killed me, and forced me to get away from him. And then I've got this marriage that I have narcissistically abusive. So I guess I've seen all sides of it, but I'm an optimist. And so I know that I'm the kind of person that was made as an empath or whatever. I'm made to love. That is a part of who I am. I cannot change that. And that's why I'm being so picky within this next year to get myself right and to really know what I want out of life. Yeah, they're definitely again. And I'd be super, super picky, because I'm not going to jump into any that's going to result like these, because I committed myself to these men. I gave my all to these. They didn't give me back, and shame on them, because I may not be perfect, but I was always about keeping them happy. I have a thing about really paying attention to like small details on somebody. And so I know if like, I don't know, if now you, you go and take care of them, you go and make sure that they have what they need, they can relax and all that stuff. And it just really sucks that I didn't get that back. Like I didn't even get the opportunity whenever I felt down or I didn't feel happy about life or I was like second guessing myself or I had a hard day or anything. I didn't even get the opportunity to start talking, told to either shut up, something going on, or every time you try to talk about this situation, I try to give you advice and you get mad. I don't get mad. What are you talking about? Like that was always a thing. Like you always get mad at me. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be very, very picky. Not giving up. I'm not. It just really sucks that
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of the things that I was guilty of this too, a lot of people, once they get out of a relationship to fix that, whatever they're going through, they just automatically get into a new relationship. And I mean, you can call that, a rebound, but I feel like if you have a rebound and it's just, a one night stand, still probably not good, but whatever. But when you turn a rebound into a partner, I feel like that's all for the wrong reasons and it's never going to work out anyway.
yeah. And I've done that. All four of my kids I had by the time I was 24. And so I don't know. I was in situations where I was like, I didn't have a lot and guys would come up and they'd want to be like knights in shining armor or whatever. And I believed it. And I'd get with somebody thinking that they were going to take care of my heart. And because I just got out of a bad situation or what, and they ended up just being even worse than the person before. And then it's just like, I don't know. I feel like I lost a little bit of myself along the way. Yeah, your self-confidence really takes a toll. But I don't know. I would rather be on this end, the person getting hurt, than the one hurting somebody. Like 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, sorry, 10 times out of 10, I would never be the person to hurt somebody else because it sucks. But I don't know.
Yeah. I couldn't even understand that. That would suck.
Just, I don't know. And these assholes, they're not going to pick somebody that's, pathetic or whatever. They're going to try to pick the ones that, like the diamonds, they're going to try to pick the ones that have something and they're going to try to break you. And you just can't let them. So I use diamonds a lot to I don't know, think about self-worth and all that stuff. It's the hardest stone. It's beautiful and it's worth a lot of money and it's priceless. I mean, so if we look at ourselves like that, we realize
Yeah. And I feel like nowadays, a lot of relationships, I mean, especially that I've been involved with, money becomes like a huge thing in like material things and like you got to have the nicest stuff. And if you don't, and someone is willing to, one up you on what that person could give them in, words of like fancy stuff or a car or whatnot, they will leave them in a heartbeat. No questions asked, just to get the bigger bag. Because I see all these gold digger videos on the internet where dudes will try to hit on girls and they got a fancy car and they'll say they have a boyfriend at first, but then they see the fancy car and then they're like, oh no, I was just kidding. And this one chick literally dumped her boyfriend of 2 years over the phone because this guy said that he could do her better. And then, yeah, he ended up leaving her, told her to get out of his car, and he left her because she's a gold digger.
I wish they could do that more. You know, if a woman wants all these nice things,
Yeah.
I mean, I will say, like, okay, so that was one good thing about my ex-husband, though. Like, he did provide nice things or whatever, but at the same time, I mean, he worked hard, I should say, but, uh, but like I said earlier, like, getting the divorce and everything, I knew that I was going to lose the house and maybe my car and all that stuff. And I was fine with it because there's more value in people and close relationships, and especially, like, you know, a relationship between two people than there is in materialistic things. Like, I think about this house. I love this house, but it could go up in smoke. It could be gone, but you could build a new house. But have somebody in your life that you love and something happened to them, you can't get them back. That's it. Or, if you have the love of your life and, they're good to you and you treat them wrong and they decide to walk away, you'll never get them back. It's just equivalent to like a house burning down. It's gone. But, I don't know. I just don't understand how it can be like that. I mean, I'm sure there's men like that too, but like, they're so materialistic and like, these guys that flaunt and stuff, you see it all over everywhere too. And it's almost like, how many women is he talking to? I wonder, behind the scenes. Like, he's kind of trashy. He might look like a cop or something like that. Be willing to do anything against their spouse just for a moment, or just to get attention, or just to get something. And it's all about more. And they're never satisfied with like the one thing that actually matters the most, and that's somebody that's there for you. So like there was something else that came up earlier about when you grow old, think about one of your parents is going to away. And so when you're there standing over their casket, are you going to be by yourself, or is somebody there holding your hand? And that's kind of powerful, because it's like, think about how you're treating the person in your life. Because when you're old, you might be by yourself if you're not treating them very nicely. And when you're looking over your parent, and that's going to be super hard, you're going to wish she was there, or you're going to wish he was there, and they're not going to be. But the same person you pushed away, when they're in the same situation, they're going to have learned from the situation that you put them in. And they're going to have somebody holding their hand, and that somebody is going to be there, and they're not going to walk away, and they're not going to talk down on them, and they're going to be just fine with having that person, and they're not going to need everything else. I think that's kind of...
Because I feel like I'm totally with you on I'm totally not looking for any kind of relationship or whatnot. I mean, I might entertain the idea every now and then just because it's human nature and it does get lonely, but I also know that I am not going to settle for less than I know I deserve again, because that's just a shit show waiting to happen. And I have my kids that I can worry about. I'd rather put in all my time and effort into them and letting them know how much I love them and spending time with them than trying to find somebody to love me back when my kids already love me back. Like, I'd rather just hang out with them. And if someone along the way comes and they check all the boxes, then cool. But if not, it's not really my main priority.
That's definitely. And that's how I look at it too. Like, I don't know, when I do start dating in the future, whatever, I might meet him and go on some dates or something, go out to eat, whatever, but he's not welcome in my house until I know that he's somebody I can introduce my girls to, because they've been through enough. So they're not ever going to meet somebody unless I feel like that's somebody. And I've got, but yeah, like, it's just, I mean, and when you're a single parent too, you come with some, beautiful packages here. Like, I hate it when kids, because they are a gift that comes with that person that you love. And if somebody really loves you, they're going to love the kids just as much as they love. So I have to be picky.
Yep. Yeah, because I've totally been in relationships where I felt like I loved their kids as much as I loved my own, but I did not get that same back. And it's like, why would I want to be with someone who I feel like doesn't like my kids? Like, that's pretty messed up.
Yeah, exactly. If they can't accept your kids, then deep down, I don't really think they're accepting you. They like you for certain reasons, but you just really aren't. And that's another thing too. Like, I was talking to a friend a while back about like the future dating game too. Like, somebody that has kids, like I have kids, but somebody else has kids. I would make sure that I'm not going to be somebody that hurts that kid either. I don't want to be somebody that they get attached to if, you know, their dad really isn't into a long term with me. So, interesting way of dating, when you've been through the ringer with other people and you have kids, and, dating someone with kids, you just got to make sure everyone's going to be in a good, and nobody needs to come out hurt, because
And I mean, you also got to think of what it does to the kids who would be like maybe the stepchildren, because I've been attached to someone who I was dating's kids. And then when you break up, it's not like you're not only just breaking up with them, but you're also breaking up with the kid, because you're not going to get to see that kid anymore. And sometimes that sucks almost even more than not seeing the person you were with, because you can hate the person you were with, but the kid did nothing to you.
and then the kid has to, they look at that person like with this situation, my two youngest kids, when I started the relationship, my youngest was 2 and my second youngest was 3. And so they've known this guy for basically 9 years as dad. And then I had to get a PFA, so he is not allowed to be around us. And now I'm getting a divorce, so he's like, that part bothers me a lot. But he also terrorized all of us. And there were so many nights where we couldn't even stay home, and like our friends' homes, or one place that helps with domestic violence in town, they actually bought us a hotel room for 2 nights, even put our dogs up in it. And so the girls were getting kind of weary of everything to begin with, and not knowing if he was going to get angry or slam doors or throw things, whatever. So, but regardless of all of that, I mean, that's all that they ever knew. And so it sucked. And that's why, I don't know, that's why it's important to learn and look at the red flags. It's a big, big deal. And, if you're interested in someone and they're interested in you, talk about your values and talk about what's important to you, because if you compromise for this person, a bigger part of you than you're realizing at that moment, but long term, it could be taking away something important to you. So you better be lined up.
Yeah, because I feel like I compromise stuff that I'm still trying to get back to be a part of my life. Like I did start my own kratom business, and I haven't been doing that for like a year now. And I'm just trying to financially get ahead again to where I can start it up. And another thing I did, I started this podcast in 2020, and I went dark for like a year and a half of just no episodes because, I mean, I took things that I enjoyed doing and got rid of them to try to make the other person happier. They needed more joy than me, and it gave me joy to make them happy, which is a messed up thing to, if you think about it.
That made a weird sound. I'm not used to wearing these earbuds, whatever. But yeah, when you have to give stuff away that's yours, because somebody's gonna get upset with you or whatever, like, my gosh, yeah, like trying to please somebody that's constantly finding your flaws is like a never ending battle until one day it doesn't, and then then you're just stuck with the scars. It's exhausting, How make you happy? This doesn't make you happy. This makes you mad. So let's do this. Oh, this doesn't make you happy. Okay. It's just like, just a constant, never ending.
Yeah. And I feel like mental abuse is on the rise. Like, I've never been physically abused by a female, but I've been mentally abused to the point to where it's like insane that I even let myself go through that, because that shit will drain you emotionally. It is one of the worst feelings like in the world, to be just like broken down over and over and over, and then not even built back up, just continuously broken.
I,
I was just going to say, like, usually you see with like full-on abusive relationships, the one person's getting physically abused, and I always find it weird, like, why not just leave them? Like, why would you keep putting up with that? But it's the same thing with mental abuse. You just don't have physical, bruises or scars. It's all internal, but you still have a hard time leaving then too. It's like a messed up mind control.
Yeah. It's like they know what to say, really get into your head, and I don't know. They know that if you want to talk, they're going to tell you to shut up. They know that if you, like in my case, if I did the dishes for 6 days, but the seventh day, the dishes hadn't gotten done yet by the time he got home. Oh my gosh, it was World War III here. Every time the dishes were not done, it got my girls to fight. Everybody was fighting, like, why didn't you do the dishes? Because we all knew that if they weren't done, he was going to be mad. And it's just, gosh, stuff like that. Like, you're walking on eggshells constantly. And even when the freaking person isn't here, you're still walking on them because you still think they're going to walk through that door and bitch about something or tell you you're doing something wrong, or I don't know. Like, it even got to the point where I would try to like look at him and smile and like try to just get a smile out of him, and he would never make eye contact. He would always look away. It's just like I was living with my enemy in the end there. But yeah, like, even though he's gone, I mean, I still get these thoughts in my head about, like the way he said things to me and the way I felt, like that self-esteem crap that I'm dealing with. Like, it's literally a roller coaster ride. And then they call them loops. And it literally is. There's loops that go on in my head that get me like really worn out in the day, because it's like some of the good memories, but yet some of the bad stuff, and they just loop. And so yeah, somebody that's mentally abusive.
Yeah. And I feel like another big thing that happens now with this being like a technological dating era is one of my biggest pet peeves is if you are messaging that person and it turns into a fight over text message and then they just either quit responding, block you temporarily, and that is like, or if you're talking on the phone and you're fighting and they just hang up on you and then they don't answer no more, that will drive me crazy. And that's like the quickest way to push my buttons to the max. Because if you want to have this altercation, like, let's just finish it. Let's just get it over with so we can move on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like technology doesn't help a lot because another thing is like if you have Snapchat, you can choose to see each other's location. And if they just randomly turn it off, that's suspect to me because why would you turn it off unless you're either A, doing something that you wouldn't want me to see, or B, hoeing around, or just out of spite because you know it upsets the other person. But I feel like we put these expectations on ourselves too because back in the day, you didn't have to worry about their location because you had no clue. It was more about trust. I feel like there's no trust at all in the modern era. And it's like one of the hardest things to get and it's the easiest thing to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Sam Walton. I don't know, the inventor of Walmart. I remember in Hayes, he used to have a sign in the back room there, and it takes years to earn a customer, lose one. But it's the same with the relationship is, you might build something special for several years, but you start getting sneaky or whatever, you don't think through something that you just take a second for that whole thing to be done. But, in our case, it seems like it was built up we both have had the ends where they build and build and build over time, but it really sucks. It sucks being someone that wants to love in the time period that we're in. And I know people cheated and stuff back then. I know, like, I've heard stories within my family and all that stuff, but like, people still grew old together. Like, you see people, you go to a nursing home and, some of the rooms have the husband and wife in there together, and she might have Alzheimer's and he might just be older. Like, he gets a little irritated with her because she's driving him crazy, and they've been there 50 whatever years. And what's a nursing home going to look? There's not.
Everyone's going to be on their phones.
Oh gosh, that's crazy. I don't know. People don't know the meaning of what life really is. Like, they don't take this anymore.
Yeah. And I don't know, maybe I'm just old school in the fact that I just want to be able to have someone that can be my best friend, someone that I don't want to end up like there's people that end up sleeping in different beds on opposite ends of the house, but they're still married. It's like, that's not a life that I would ever want to live. Like, if we can't sleep in the same bed and cuddle, then I'm not going to be in a relationship with you because I'm not going to sleep in a room by myself. That's pointless.
Right. I agree. I know because I do that. But when you are dating somebody, you ask yourself, after you've known them a little bit, okay, so if I end up getting diagnosed with something and it's terminal or whatever, or maybe it's not. Maybe I just get diagnosed with something and I get really, really sick. Is that the kind of person that I want to put my trust in, that he's going to be there to take care of me when I'm sick? And then you reverse the table. If that person was diagnosed with somebody, whether terminal or he's just sick, is that somebody that I would take care of and spend my time that he was okay? And, there's a lot of things like that to think about, and gives me chills. But we are also in a society where people get sick all the time. I mean, and that's something that so many people take for granted too. People get sick all the time. people that are healthy get diagnosed with crap all the time. If you want to be a player and you want to go sleep around with all these chicks, fine. But like, what if you get like stomach cancer or something and nobody's around? Like, out. I don't know. The meaning of life. Come on, people.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like around here, there's only the few places you can meet people that could even be potential partners is either on a dating site or a bar. And I definitely don't think it's a good idea to find someone in a bar because that's for all the wrong reasons.
I agree. And I was talking to a friend about dating sites the other day, and she was telling me that, like, even if you go to like Christian Mingle or you go to like single parents or anything that sounds like sweet or whatever, it's all full of players. It's all, everybody just wants, they just want in and out. And it's, wow, I don't know. That really irritates me because there's probably people on those sites that are genuinely good, that genuinely want the right thing. And, they're probably meeting people that, and they're like, that's not what I want. And it's all, and, you can't even be safe to date on apps anymore. Unless that's what you want, unless that's what you're going for,
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna go, I will never do it again. That was a weird situation. People can write the sweetest.
I'm on a bunch of dating sites, but I mostly just do it just probably out of boredom and just to see. But yeah, nobody's genuine anymore. There's nothing. I feel like I got a pretty strict background check that I would like them to go through before I could submit my time.
Mm-hmm. Actually, on People Finder, this is not an advertisement. No. But I guess you can go there and pay a subscription, and then you can find all the information you want on people. And I was curious about somebody once, so I typed in I waited like the 40 minutes for it to download. What am I doing? If I'm even questioning this person, like, nope. Like, I've wasted all this time when I'm just questioning somebody, like, one of those people, like they've got it all together and everything, but you feel like just because, the community thinks that they're going to be a faithful, loyal person. I don't know anymore.
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, it sucks. And I feel like I'm one of those people that shit could go bad and hit the fan and I should be done because I've seen all the red flags. I've internalized them. I know exactly what happened, but then they apologize and I'm like, okay, we'll try it again. And it never changes. It usually ends up worse than it did the time before.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And then sometimes you've got that like little honeymoon period or whatever where they're really nice for a week, 2 weeks, maybe a few days or something, when you take them back, and then it's like they really, really bring their claws out, and it's not always happened here. It was just, okay, I forgive you. Don't freaking do that again. Oh, okay, I love you. I'm so sorry. And then they love bomb you. When they love bomb you, they'll buy you like gifts, or they'll like sweet to you or
yeah, and I just feel like that's how a lot of people's minds work nowadays. Like they're just programmed that way.
It's really messed up. Out there, I don't know. It's hard to meet
Most of
people
them are
like
probably
us.
in fucked up relationships.
There you go. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah. I don't know. I've actually talked to several friends that have said that they've come out of abusive relationships too. And like ever since I've kind of opened up on Facebook about my situation, and I try to be respectful because I know his family can see what I post. And so I don't want to disrespect him and therefore disrespect his family. So that's not cool. Very careful. But I say just enough to kind of let people know. And yeah, I've had quite a few people tell me that they've been in some like really mentally abusive, situationally abusive. I don't know. But the thing with me though, like the court and everything, I'm going to tell the judge that I want some of my money back. Like if he wants to divvy it up halfway or whatever, but $16,000 is a lot of money. And that was my money too. And if I'm moving out of town, I need to be able to survive, like, you know, provide for my kids, take care of utilities, all that stuff. And then my vehicle, like him not paying for it for a couple months and I had to pay $1,000, like, and I'm not authorized on the loan either because my name's not on the title. So it's just like, I'm going to tell the judge all of it, everything he thought that he was doing and, you know, to be sneaky and all that stuff. It's going to come to the light and it's going to come back to me. So it sucks. Like I'm not somebody that wants revenge or anything like that, but ultimately this isn't revenge. It's like to take care of myself and my kids. But, like pay my own bills. Then hopefully down the road, find somebody, you know, and be happy and just live and not have to be sneaky and not be put down. And I don't think I might have called him an asshole a couple times, or called him names. Like I don't remember ever calling him anything, you know, and when somebody's like that, when somebody's like respects you enough not to call you a name, but then they revert to calling you names.
Yeah, and especially when I went through a lot of like being at work and being like, I wonder if today is going to end up into a shit show because something's going to trigger them and then all hell's going to break loose. That constant anxiety is like horrible.
After you're tired from work and you just want to come home and relax for a little bit, you probably got bitched out instead. And didn't get to relax. Or, I mean, even if you could relax, even if you could put your feet up on the couch, you probably were stressed out. That's eggshells. I don't laugh because it's funny. I laugh because it's just like, I can't believe this is the way, you know, that we've had to live. We've been in survival mode for so many years. Like, even when I knew you, like I guess I was kind of in survival. Like, I don't know. I just didn't know better. And they always say that you're going to go for somebody that reminds you of your parent or something. And like for me, my dad was an alcoholic. And so when I was talking to a guy that was nice and he was an alcoholic, I automatically thought, hey, like, this is going to be all right. And subconsciously, what I've realized lately is that was maybe my way of being with somebody like my dad, but like he gave me attention. So it's almost like my dad approved of me or something. Possibly. I don't know. Just so many things to think about. But there's so many things that come out of an abusive relationship too. There's so many things. And it's like the healing process sucks too. It's not just like, oh, we break up and that's it. It's like, okay, this whole part of my chest is gone. It might look like it's there, but it's not, you know, and that there's that pain and then you're confused about, you know, everything that's going on and you're, you know, the person that you want to be with the most in your life is like the person you had to take out of your life.
Yeah, and it sucks to be one of those people that is hurt from a relationship, but like they're still like, you know, you're hurting more about it than they are because they're the ones that caused it and it shows how heartless they are. And that makes it even I feel like cut deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. It's almost like they don't even care. Like if something ended, they're just probably slipping in their DMs to, somebody that they're either like you were saying, they might have liked their picture or whatever. They already have somebody set up, I knew a guy that was telling me he had a wife, Colorado, and there was a woman out there, and he goes, I always got to have someone on the back burner. Like, what is that? Why?
Yeah, I did whole episodes on back burners. Yeah, it's so messed up. Facebook even helps with back burners. Like, Facebook can tell if, like, as soon as you get out of a relationship, Facebook will start, or even if Facebook knows, like, you're having shit go on in your relationship, they might just randomly, send you that you may know of someone who you used to have a connection with. And then it's weird, like, how that happens. I feel like Facebook antagonizes a lot of stuff. Facebook knows who your back burners are before you do.
Well, that doesn't help anything.
No.
This stuff.
Yeah, because you got to think that all these free apps, all they want is your data. They want to know everything about you. And I mean, most people have Facebook and they use Facebook, they use Messenger, they use Instagram. Facebook monitors your activity when you're offline, so they know what you're doing when you're not on Facebook. They have a pretty sophisticated profile of you. They know what kind of naughty stuff you watch. They know, like, your whole schedule.
Wow. That's crazy. That's scary.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not even just them. Your internet service provider, they know everything about you. It's all about the data now. Nope. But hell yeah, we've almost hit the hour and 30 mark. That's usually how long I have them go. Sometimes they go longer, sometimes they go shorter. Hell yeah. I didn't know if you had any last words that you wanted to say.
Life's still good no matter what. I mean, you got to find.
Hell yeah.
I'm
hell
sticking
yeah,
with
we
that.
definitely need to do it again. Hell yeah. Same. All right. And that concludes episode 31 with Tiff. If you enjoyed the episode as much as I did, and you don't mind, go ahead and leave a rating or a review on whatever platform you're listening on. That helps me out a lot. But just know you don't have to do either of those things. I just want you to enjoy the show. Again, check out my affiliates and use promo code Georgie350 for some dope-ass clothing. Also, for $5 a month, you can watch the video before anyone else on patreon.com/onceupon785 or Spotify for $2.99 to get the video version. My email is onceupon785@proton.me. You can now find me on Cameo. Also, catch me on TikTok every week. And as always, I'm your host, Georgie350. Let's hit him with the outro, bitch. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Middle of the map, can't swear I'm at. You can say I'm whack, it's just not a fact. Can tell if I'm awake or I'm in a dream. I just know I'm geeked on amphetamines. Never was a habit, now I gotta have it. Never was a fiend, now I am an addict. Or was a habit, now I gotta have it. Never was a fiend.